We turn our attention to football. Several members of Jamaica's women's senior national football team, the Reggae Girls, are refusing to train or play until they receive outstanding payments. On the social media site Instagram, Khadija Bunny Shaw, Alison Swaby, Lauren Silva, Shinilu Asher, and Dominique Flasher all declared that they will not play another match for Jamaica until they are paid money they are owed from their World Cup campaign. They each posted a no pay, no play poster on their Instagram pages. The post read, "Pay our Reggae Girls, no pay, no play. History-making World Cup Reggae Girls have not been paid. Repost to show your support." Along with poster star striker Khadija Bunny Shaw, she wrote, "First Caribbean team to qualify for a World Cup. We have made a lot of sacrifices to wear the colors of Jamaica. We are in a position where we are literally fighting just to get paid by legal agreements. This ain't just about money, it's about change in the way women football is viewed, especially in Jamaica. We deserve more and they can do better. For this reason, I, along with my teammates, won't be participating in any future tournaments until being paid." Well, President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Michael Ricketts, says he does not know what would have triggered this latest protest from the Reggae Girls. He joins us on the phone now. Mr. Ricketts, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, and I hope you are good too. Is it true that this protest on social media caught you by surprise?
Absolutely, because what happened is that we have been in contact with the girls. We wrote to them last week expressing our dissatisfaction in how things would have unfolded. Up to now, we have not yet received funds from FIFA. And we advised the girls that FIFA had indicated to us that the monies would be made available at the end of September. While the World Cup ended, I think the 7th of July, so we honestly thought that we certainly would have gotten that money, maybe a month thereafter. But we wrote to FIFA on the 16th of July, making inquiries about the payment, and we were advised then that the monies would not be paid until the end of September. We wrote to the girls and we apologized most profusely for this, and asked that they bear with us and try and understand the situation. We certainly had an arrangement that they be paid at the end of August. Last week we got some funds together and we try and would have gotten in contact with the girls to ensure that they be paid half of what was owed to them.
Well,
we started the process with Sagicor. In fact, I got the email from Sagicor this morning that they are working on it, and the monies ought to be in some of the accounts by today, and the others certainly by tomorrow. So this is something that we have not taken lightly. We really don't want to be in a fight with the girls. We really would love to amicably and quickly settle this issue so we can go on with the business of football. But I honestly think that they were, I don't know what's the correct word, but I really thought that they would have understood the situation. We have not yet got the funds from FIFA, and we sent documentation to them in this regard. So we really thought that they would have understood and at least waited until September. But as it is now, we are trying desperately to pay up. Like the bank has told us, by tomorrow the money should hit the account of all the girls, and we certainly try and find some money to pay by the end of September. We're definitely working on it.
Mr. Ricketts, so are you saying that half of the amount of money was paid to the females already, to the players?
The process started last Thursday. This morning I got an email from Sagicor to say that they are in the process. They are going, because it takes a few days, and they assured me that the money should hit some of the accounts by today, and hopefully all of them would have received money by tomorrow.
Okay,
but the process actually started, I think it was Thursday. Okay. I signed the documents on Wednesday.
Okay, because I know Lauren Silva, when you notified the public that you had paid half the amount of money, she came out and said that she didn't receive any money whatsoever.
And certainly, if somebody had got in contact with the bank would tell them, yes, they are in the process of doing so. But it takes a few days, like they have explained. And this morning, I got a mail to say that they are working on it, and further information to say that some of the monies will hit the account today and the rest tomorrow. So hopefully by tomorrow, all of them would have gotten half of what was owed to them.
All right, Mr. President, how are you doing? A very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing great, thanks for asking. I get the impression, though, because I'm not pretty close to the football, what I read in the papers most times and listen to persons who are pretty close to the football, that maybe the girls reacted this way because of just sheer frustration and lack of trust coming out of treatments that have been meted out to them in the past. Is it a case where the girls are just frustrated and are not willing to take your words for it? Because that could have been the issue.
What would frustrate them? Because and what we need to make very clear is that the JFF is a non-profit organization which depends on partnerships and sponsorship for survival. So sometimes, I mean, I work with government for 40 years, and a number of times I go to the bank on payday, and monies are not in my account. What am I going to do? Go to the media rather than say to my pay station, why am I not paid? I mean, if these girls had connected with us, we could have, in fact, we send documentation to them to say that this is the information we have gotten from FIFA. We do what we can do for them. I mean, these girls that grow up in a Jamaican environment, the JFF provides a platform for them so that they can get scholarships and get contracts. And some of them don't seem to remember that. This is the same JFF that put programs in place for them to have gotten into school and have gotten contracts so that they can change their whole footballing landscape. But the truth is that we had an arrangement to pay them the end of August. It never materialized because we did not get the money from FIFA. We wrote to them, we apologized, and like I say, we're hoping that and we're working seriously to ensure that they're paid in full. It's not a situation that we are watched with cash. We have to move funds around and try to. We have 14 units that we are responsible for, 6 on either side of the gender, and beach football and futsal. So we have 14 teams that we are responsible for. So, I mean, we must understand and try to give and take a little bit.
Okay, Mr.
But it's just unfortunate, but we want to have it corrected and we want to do it so quickly.
Right, so Mr. President, also one of the girls came out and said, I read that, I won't call her name, and she was talking about the amount of JFF directors who were in France, and she's saying that if so many of the executives can be in France, it means
Let me
just finish the question. And she was saying that, you know, if JFF can afford to do that, then what's the problem? Is it a case where FIFA assists the JFF with getting some of its executives there?
Let me add some clarity to this. 4 of us went to France at the expense of FIFA. The General Secretary, Vice President Gaynor, and myself went as guests of FIFA for the FIFA voting Congress. They took us to France for the Congress. Elaine Walker-Brown was taken to France for the Women's Convention. So 4 of us that were in France were at the expense of FIFA. So, and that's what I'm saying, they just need to be properly informed. We were never in France at the expense of the JFF. We were there at the expense of FIFA, who took 3 of us to the voting Congress and Elaine Walker-Brown to a Women's Convention. So that is not true.
Okay, just clarify it. I'm happy that you have clarified it.
They make these pronouncements.
I'm happy that you have clarified it, sir, because I just want to ask you one last thing, though. You just made mention of the fact that, you know, you have gotten scholarships for the girls and you're looking after them. But isn't that the responsibility of the JFF? Because the returns are going to be very good if they go on scholarships, improve their skills, they come back to Jamaica, they play with Jamaica, we go to the next World Cup. You and your organization will look very good.
Well, of course, and that's what football is about, to make wholesome individuals of both boys and girls. You know the positive impact that the qualification for the World Cup has had on some dysfunctional communities and some boys and girls who just want to play because of the motivation that they've gotten from the qualification of the girl.
President Ricketts.
That's what we are about.
Yeah, President Ricketts.
Change the lives of young people, boys and girls.
Yeah. President Ricketts, Wayne mentioned just now about the issue of trust. And one of the things that Bunny Shaw mentioned in her Instagram post was that the JFF can do better. So even though you're suggesting that there was communication from the JFF standpoint, there is a feeling, certainly from Bunny Shaw, the star player in the team, that the JFF can do better. So what is it that is inadequate about your communications with them to not convince them, to convince them otherwise?
Obviously, somebody else is saying different things to them. Because, I mean, if a girl could say, based on numbers that were in France, I mean, ask the JFF, instead of making such a post. I don't know what Bunny has in mind, but we have given her as much support as we have given anybody. We have given these girls as much as we can afford to. And like I've said, we have 14 units that we are responsible for.
Yeah, but
we have the Olympic qualifiers coming up
okay.
now.
Are you?
We have the under-17. We have a number of events that we must take care of.
Yeah.
And we only get funding from our parent organization and from partners and sponsors.
Yeah, all right. You mentioned earlier on in the interview, President Ricketts, that you're not sure where this lack of trust is coming from and so on, and you're surprised about the outburst in the past 24 hours. From the outside looking in, I'm not sure if the general public is surprised, because there was an issue with money a few months ago regarding these same girls. There was a highly publicized conflict or combat between Cedella Marley and the JFF regarding funds and so on. So this issue has been long-standing. So to suggest that you're surprised that the girls would come out in the way that they did yesterday is a little hard to digest from my standpoint.
Listen, and you gentlemen need to have the facts before you make such comments, and I would like for them.
What comments? What comments?
The JFF is audited 3 times every year.
No, what comments? No, just back up.
And we are going to make it public.
Yeah, but just back up. You say we must have facts before we make such comments. What comments are you talking about?
Generally I'm speaking.
Generally? Oh,
Yeah.
Nothing to do with what I just said?
No, nothing with what you just said.
Okay, go ahead.
But just generally. And sometimes you hear some things and you just wonder, how could people even perceive the things they say? Because I don't know this trust factor. I don't know where this is coming from. And I need for somebody to tell us why there is a trust issue with the JFF. We are audited by FIFA every year. We're audited by our own board of directors. Every board meeting we have, and of course, we are doing audit every year.
Yeah, I think that the trust factor, President Ricketts, could have a lot to do with CFU and CONCACAF officials, several of them who have gotten into trouble over fraud and corruption charges in recent years.
Well, if that is the case, I can understand.
Okay.
If that is the case, I can understand. But I'm saying that the JFF that I lead, we are very transparent, and I want to make it very clear that I am free for an audit anytime, anywhere. You don't need to give me a notice. You can come. I can make myself available anytime, because all I'm in football for, sir, is to change football and to grow the sport of football. That's why I'm into football, to ensure that some little boy and some little girl, for example, we are looking at some plans that we will unveil shortly. That will impact the harnessing and growth of our grassroots and our young players.
Yeah.
I have no interest at all in getting anything from football, rather than to see some youngster, some unfortunate, dysfunctional community with some kids who have never been exposed, to get into some organized situation, get into some high school, get some scholarship, come back, help the program, help your family. That's what I'm into football for.
Just to clarify one issue there, the Reggae Girls, is there something about their complaint with regard to a monthly stipend that they are due, as opposed to this FIFA money that you're waiting on? Because there was some talk about some monthly stipend that is part of what they're complaining about.
We owe the girls a total of a little less than $120,000 in total. And we have paid just about half of that. And like I've said, the bank has assured me that it will hit some accounts today and the others tomorrow.
So this payment is for what? What are these outstanding payments?
we signed a contractual arrangement,
Yes.
maybe June,
Yes.
that between January and August, they will be paid a specific amount.
Okay.
Mr.
So
President.
that is what
Mr. President.
has been owed. We signed the contract, I think, early June or late May, thereabouts.
Mr. President.
And this was done exclusively on the premise that the World Cup ends the first week in July.
We understand.
We really thought that by the end of August we'd have gotten these funds from FIFA.
Okay, Mr.
So
President.
we came to an agreement at the end of August we make this payment. But
Okay, Mr.
FIFA
President,
has said that money will not be available until September.
Okay, Mr. President, we're running out of time now. We just want to say, when we ask a question, it's not about entrapment. We're not trying to show you up. It's an opportunity for you to clear the air on some important matters. For example...
No, I don't have a problem. No, honestly, I don't have a problem.
I know, I just want to clear that. Because
I think you've been quite reasonable.
We appreciate that, sir. Because
I really don't have a problem. I think you were civil and very professional.
Right, so we just want to ask you one question, one last question about the trust factor. When Sidella and our team came out and said that they would much rather spend the money, send the money directly to the persons rather than passing it through the JFF, that was giving the impression like they were saying that they're not certain that those monies will be used for what it was intended for. So maybe, are you thinking that maybe that's one of the reasons why the girls might have a problems, where they rather not send the money to the JFF but to deal directly with the supplier?
You see, what we don't understand is that before women's football came to the fore, it was monies for male programs that we had to use to help women's football. So, like I said, we are not an income-generating entity, and that is what we must change. And that is something that we must work on to ensure that the JFF does not exclusively depend on sponsorship for survival. We must find a way to generate our own funds. And as long as we don't do that, then we'll have to move funds around to assist different areas of the sport. I mean, we used to use sponsorship for a male program and money generated by our male program to run women's football.
All right.
So it's not a thing that if we get $50 for our girls program, that we can spend 20 on a under 13 women's team or under 50 women's team.
All right,
That is how
Mr.
the
Ricketts.
JFF operates. But it's just unfortunate. It is very unfortunate. And sometimes people really don't understand. And because of that, the conception, there's a misconception. But I can assure you that we are extremely transparent, and whatever we do is overboard.
All right, Mr. Ricketts. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the SportsMax
And
Zone.
feel free to contact me whenever you want to. I am at liberty to speak to you.
All right, thank you.